All right, people, what is going on? It's a beautiful morning. It is super duper warm, short sleeve, shorts, the whole nine. Sun's blinded me in the eyeballs. You know what that means. Summertime. It's officially here. Super duper hot out nowadays. It's been in the low 90s every single day here around the house. And so that means a lot of offshore fishing, summertime tactics. Excuse the echo, but I'm gonna jump in the boat. I'm gonna give you guys a breakdown on what I like to use this time of year. Summertime, my favorite baits, June all the way till the end of August. What do I like to throw? I'm about to show you. Let's check it out. All right, guys, so like literally, I'm getting all my gear together. I'll leave in about 30 minutes to watch bar. So a lot of my summertime techniques are kind of geared towards what I think watch bar is gonna be like, but this is pretty much a rule of thumb for me as I travel across the country. So what I'm gonna do is, we'll start off shallow and then work our way to some of our deeper baits that I like to use as it starts to warm up. So we're gonna kick it off with none other than probably one of my favorite ways to catch one, I'm sure Charles too, a good old frog. And so this right here is a Spro popping frog. I got it on 50-pound braid, a 7'2" heavy action, absolute, man, hey, really loving this rod right here for frogging. You guys looking for a good, affordable frog rod, this absolute rod right here, I think it's like 120 bucks, something like that. Check that out, 7'2" heavy action. Skipping underneath laydowns, brim beds are prevalent right now. Any kind of grass in the water, a frog's gonna be an excellent choice. And who doesn't like getting blown up on? I know I do. I gotta have me a frog. Right along with that, a buzzbait, man. You know, walking baits are real popular this time of year. Zara spoofs, vixens, things like that. Man, it's something about getting up real shallow in some off-colored water and covering a ton of water with a buzzbait. And this is just a 5/16 ounce buzzbait. I got a bandito bug on the back for a trailer. I took the little side appendages off so you just get a little bit of kicking action on that. 40-pound braid on this one, and a high-speed 8-to-1 gear ratio reel covering water. Boom, that's in the game. All right, so I'm up shallow. I'm skipping underneath trees, but there's still a few places I cannot reach, right? But I need to pick them apart. And that's when this bad boy right here comes in. The flipping stick, the big stick. This is my signature series rod. And I got a 3/8 ounce weight on here and a little Bandito Bug Junior. I'm scaling down a little bit. Why is that? A lot of these lakes that we fish, man, these big lakes, Chickamauga, Watts Bar, Kentucky Lake, Pickwick, man, the pressure on these fish is real. So scaling down sometimes is the key to getting a few extra bites and sometimes getting a big bite. And you've been looking at bigger baits all week, you scale it back, then all of a sudden, boom, you got yourself a bite. Along those same lines, I actually like flipping around a straight tail worm. This is something that a lot of people don't do or that's not talked about much. And so here on a 3/8 ounce weight, I got just a straight watermelon red slim shake Googan bait there. And I'll flip this around laydowns and all over the place and I'll get plenty of bites on this. It's something about not having any action. The total opposite of like a bandito bug where you got all these appendages kicking. Well, you got this guy right here, he's straight, he's slender, fits the profile of a lot of food out there, but he's not doing too much. A couple extra bites. Straight tail worm, gotta have that bad boy. All right, moving along. Now I'm starting to get off the bank a little bit. I'm gonna get down into a little deeper water column. How do I wanna attack that? You know, everybody's fishing the ledges in the Tennessee River. You know, that's a really popular thing here in the Southeast, and a lot of different ways you can attack that. I tend to go on the more finessey side of things. Again, pressure. If you roll out on Gunnersville, you roll out on Chickamauga, you roll out on Pickwick about mid-May through June, you know what I'm talking about. Boats everywhere, on every single ledge, all trying to catch the same fish, right? It can be very frustrating at times, but it is what it is. So again, I come from more of a finessey approach. A lot of big swim baits are being thrown and they do catch them, but after those fish have seen a few of those, they get a little sketchy. So me, I'll jump in there with like a 3.8 on a 1/2 ounce jig head. little saucy swimmer, comes swimming through the school. Fits the profile, it's smaller than your big gizzard shad. They're not gonna have to exert a lot of energy to shoot out and bite this bait. It's not gonna put up much of a fight, easy meal. This is what I like to do. And that's, I'll throw that on 12-pound test. You know, again, I'm not really throwing big, heavy stuff. Similar on the crankbaits. So here's my MR12 deep diver. Obviously this bait gets down 12, 14 feet, right? But of course I'll throw a host of other deep diving crankbaits. Rapala, DT16, a DT20. I'll throw a 6XD from Strike King. Dual Realis makes some great deep diving crankbaits. There's tons of them out there, whatever your preference. But I start off with a rattling bait, and then I slowly transition to a silent bait. That's something that I've learned too over the years. Again, pressure. All these lakes are getting tons of pressure, so keep that in mind when you're out there. All right, moving along, one of my all-time favorite, and that's a Neco Rig, okay? Just a little watermelon candy worm with a nail weight in it. I'll throw out on those ledges. I can throw that around, skip it around docks. I can throw it on laydowns. I have a weedless wacky hook here by Guggen. You can put this bait pretty much anywhere and not get hung up and absolutely get some bites. This is another killer on brim beds. When you see those bass busting on bluegill beds, something about a wacky worm or Neco Rig they really like. So keep that in mind too. A lot of bass feeding on brim right now. And then last but not least, this is a bait you guys have heard me talk about several times. You gotta have a drop shot, man. When it comes to finesse tactics, this is probably my #1 approach to a finesse style bite. And that goes for, you know, people think about how big these bass are on these different fisheries and how they won't eat a small bait. And it's just not true. The more pressure they get, a smaller of a bait they'll bite. Just keep that in mind too. So again, I'm going to a place where I know there's gonna be a lot of guys out there fishing. And so immediately I'm going to what I think will get big. Now don't get me wrong, in this box, as you guys see open this big rod box, I got everything under the sun. Big 3/4 ounce jigs, flutter spoons, big shaky heads, all of that. But that is for fish that have not seen a bait yet. So I'm kind of approaching this a little different than I would some of my other tip videos, but I just know the type of pressure that's out there waiting on me. And so this is gonna be my approach right here. And the last thing I'm gonna leave you guys with, you see I got the cooler back there in the back, the Igloo. These boats are excellent for keeping ice, but they just don't keep it that great. So go ahead and invest in a nice, reliable cooler. I'll throw ice in that thing and 3 days later, I'm still using that same ice. So, you know, that's just something to throw out there. You guys see me ride around with that thing in a boat. If you watch live on Major League Fishing, you'll see that thing on the back of the boat a lot of the time in the summer months, man, because I don't know about y'all, I don't like hot water. I want my water nice and cold. That bad boy right there keeps it cool. So I hope you guys enjoy this tip video. Drop me a comment. Let me know what y'all want to see next. I'm literally about to throw all these rods on my boat, take off, and head to Watts Bar. So I'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching. I appreciate y'all. See you.